Hey, Young and the Restless fans, we have got an absolutely packed week of spoilers for you, June 15th through the 19th, and I am telling you right now, this week is wild from start to finish. We have got Patty Williams doing what Patty Williams does best, which is causing absolute chaos. Except this time, she has taken things to a completely new level by holding Diane Jenkins prisoner and trying to blackmail Jack Abbott into a relationship. Yes, you heard that right. Patty is out here trying to leverage a kidnapping into a romance, and Jack is absolutely furious. We have also got Nikki Newman's health taking a genuinely scary turn that has Victoria worried sick. Devin is coming for Kane with a warning he better take seriously. And the whole Diane timeline situation, which, look, we need to talk about because the show has some explaining to do, is getting addressed this week in what sounds like a very messy attempt to patch things back together. It's me, and we are diving into every single spoiler for the week of June 15th through the 19th, including Nikki going off on Lily, Devin unloading on Kane, and a whole lot more. But before we get into all of it, if you are not following us yet, please hit that subscribe button right now because you do not want to miss a thing. Okay, let us get into it. Monday, June 15th, Season 53, Episode 173. Alright, so before we even get into the actual story content of Monday's episode, I have to be upfront with you all about what is happening here because you deserve to know. Monday's episode is essentially the YNR writing team sitting down and trying to untangle a timeline mess that honestly should never have happened in the first place. And I warned you guys about this. The Diane storyline got completely thrown off the rails because of the Beyond the Gates crossover and some genuinely poor planning on the part of the showrunner, and now they're having to shoot an entire episode just to try to paper over the cracks. And look, they try. But the result is pretty cringeworthy, and I want you to be prepared going in. Here is the problem in a nutshell. Before the crossover, Diane was missing in Genoa City. Jack and Kyle were worried. She had not shown up for work. She had not been in her bed at the GCAC. Jack had already hired a private investigator to track her down. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Diane is all smiles at a fundraiser in Maryland, happy and reconciled with Jack, acting like nothing ever happened. And then they come back to town, and all of a sudden Jack and Kyle are talking about her disappearing and calling the cops, as if we all just collectively forgot the last several episodes. They just skipped over the resolution entirely. How did Diane go from missing to attending a charity event with her husband? Nobody knows. The show never told us. And now they are trying to act like that gap does not exist. It is genuinely insanely sloppy writing, and I say that as someone who loves this show and wants it to be better, so with that context in mind. Monday's episode. Tracy Abbott spots the one and only crazy Patty Williams with a man named Dr. Lawrence Markham, played by Jerry Burns. Dr. Markham is a psychiatrist who oversaw Patty's treatment at her most recent psychiatric facility. Now, I want to say something about that. If this man was responsible for Patty's psychiatric care and she is still out here doing what she is doing, that is not exactly a ringing endorsement of his methods. Just saying, because here is what we find out: Dr. Markham is not some innocent bystander. He is the person Patty has been paying to keep Diane locked up in his home. His actual home, with bars on the windows. And he has been actively gaslighting Diane, trying to convince her that she has had some kind of mental breakdown and that she needs to be there. This is criminal. This is horrifying. And this is Patty Williams at her most dangerously delusional. Over at the Abbott mansion, Jack and Kyle are discussing Diane on Monday. They mentioned she was with them at the fundraiser, but everything is intentionally vague. Again, this is the show trying to smooth over the continuity disaster. And then Jack calls in Detective Burrow to officially report Diane as a missing person. He tells the detective right away that he believes Patty Williams is behind this. They file the report and get the investigation rolling. Tracy, meanwhile, has confronted Patty directly. She ran into her just as Dr. Markham was leaving, and Patty casually tells her that was her psychiatrist and gives Tracy his name. And Tracy is not having it for even 1 second. She absolutely unloads on Patty, reminding her that she killed her daughter Colleen, reminding her of every terrible thing she has ever done, and making it very clear she sees right through her. Tracy calls Jack immediately and tells him where to find Patty, and Jack races over to confront her. Jack gets in Patty's face and demands to know where Diane is. And Patty, completely unbothered, tells him that Diane ran off and left him before and could have done it again. Jack tells her he is going to see her locked away again, and then he and Tracy leave to do some digging on Dr. Markham. They look the doctor up and everything checks out on paper. He is a legitimate licensed psychiatrist. But Tracy is not satisfied.
She says there was something off about him.
An evil smile that made her skin crawl. And just as Tracy steps away to take a phone call, Patty shows up at the Abbott mansion. She pulls out her phone and shows Jack a photo, and it is Diane, unconscious on a bed. And this is where Patty goes full villain. She tells Jack she is protecting him from Diane, who she claims is completely unhinged. She says Diane is in a safe place being cared for by a professional. She tells Jack not to call the police because she says Jack himself is the one responsible for Diane's breakdown. She warns him that Diane could need to be in psychiatric care for years. And then she delivers the ultimatum. If Jack does not enter into a relationship with her, something bad may happen to Diane. Jack is enraged. He is absolutely seething. Because he knows Diane did not have a breakdown. He was just with her.
She was completely fine.
He demands to see her immediately, and Patty says no. Because seeing Jack is not good for her recovery. This woman has truly gone off the deep end. And then we flip over to Diane. She staggers out of her room, completely disoriented. She has no idea where she is. There are bars on the windows. No phone. Every door is locked. She is completely trapped. Dr. Markham shows up and finds her holding a letter opener. She was trying to pry open a lock, desperately trying to find any way out. She demands answers. She demands to know where she is. And Dr. Markham tells her she is at his personal residence because she had a breakdown. Diane fires back that she absolutely did not have a breakdown. She tells him she needs to leave right now. And then he hits her with something truly infuriating. He says that Jack is the one who agreed to put her into treatment. That Jack blames himself for her condition. Diane is absolutely not buying it. She says she was at work and she left, and that is the last thing she remembers. Dr. Markham counters that he found her screaming in her car, clearly in distress. And then Diane does the only sensible thing and demands he transfer her to an actual accredited psychiatric facility rather than keeping her locked in his private home. Which, yes, Diane, that is the correct response. This situation is absolutely chilling, and I have a feeling it is going to get worse before it gets better. Tuesday, June 16th, Season 53, Episode 174 on Tuesday, Patty's partner in crime meets with Diane. Now hold on, because Diane already came face-to-face with Dr. Markham on Monday, so either this is a slightly sloppy spoiler or there is a third person involved in this whole conspiracy. And honestly, I would not put it past someone with the last name Newman to be bankrolling this whole operation. Someone who has wanted Jack Abbott completely destroyed for a very long time. Someone who has the resources and the ruthlessness to fund something like this. I am not going to say the name outright, but I think we all know who I am looking at. If Victor Newman is behind Patty and Dr. Markham's little arrangement, this just became a whole different level of dangerous for Jack and Diane. Speaking of Jack, Kyle's dad rallies people together for a meeting. And I am almost certain this is about Diane's disappearance. Jack is not the kind of man who sits around and waits for the police to figure things out. He is going to pull together everyone he trusts and organize his own response. I am expecting Kyle and Tracy in that room for sure. Probably Billy. Almost certainly Michael Baldwin, who has always been Jack's guy in a crisis. Maybe he even extends an invitation to Nikki, though Nikki has her own very serious problems this week that are going to be consuming a lot of her energy and attention. More on that in a moment. Wednesday, June 17th, Season 53, Episode 175 by Wednesday. Jack Abbott has officially had enough of waiting and he decides to take matters into his own hands. Which, honestly, expected. Jack is not built for patience when someone he loves is in danger. He is either going to take off on his own to track down Dr. Markham, or he has had his private investigator do some digging and locate exactly where Markham lives, and now Jack is going to go over there personally and get in that man's face. Either way, Jack is done playing by the rules here. Devin hits Kane with a warning shot, and I am very confident this is about Lily. Specifically about Lily getting closer to Kane on both a professional and personal level, and about the fact that she is positioning him as CEO of Chancellor. Devin has never been shy about his opinions, and he is clearly not going to sit back and watch his sister hand over the keys of Chancellor Industries to a man he does not fully trust without saying something about it first. This warning is Devin being a protective big brother, but it is also Devin being a businessman who has serious concerns about the direction Chancellor is heading. And then we have got Nikki grilling Lily. And I strongly suspect this is also about Chancellor and Kane's new CEO title. Because if you remember the history here, Victor and Nikki did Lily absolutely dirty on that Chancellor deal. They maneuvered around her, they played games, and Lily came out of it with less than she deserved. So, honestly, I kind of hope Lily looks Nikki dead in the eye and says something along the lines of, you know what, karma is real, and maybe think about what you and Victor did to me before you come in here with complaints. Lily has earned the right to run Chancellor the way she sees fit. And if she wants Kane by her side doing it, that is her call to make. Thursday, June 18th, Season 53, Episode 176. Thursday is Phyllis Day, and I am ready. Phyllis hits Kane where it really hurts, and my best guess is that she rubs it in his face that Victor handed Arabesque over to her. Because that had to sting. Kane had designs on that business, and watching Phyllis walk away with it, especially with Phyllis being Phyllis about it, is going to be a lot for him to swallow. I also have to wonder if Phyllis is already thinking about rebranding. She is absolutely the kind of person to put her own stamp on something immediately and dramatically. Summer's Conglomerate Part 2? Something equally extra? I genuinely would not put it past her, and I kind of love her for it. Now here is the sweet moment in the middle of all this drama. Kane tells Lily that they can do some really incredible things together. And Lily agrees with him. And then he leans in and asks her to come a little closer because he wants to tell her something, and they end up kissing right there at Crimson Lights. It is genuinely cute. These two have had such a slow build, and moments like this remind you why people are rooting for them. After everything Lily has been through, she deserves someone who looks at her the way Kane does. Victor puts his foot down with Matt this week. And I think what is happening here is Victor is trying to make sure Matt stays on the straight and narrow and keeps following orders. But Matt, who has been working hard to distance himself from the darker version of himself, does not want Victor dragging him back into scheming and plotting territory. That push and pull between what Victor wants from Matt and what Matt wants for himself is going to be a real source of tension, and I think it comes to a head here. Victoria is genuinely worried about her mother. Nikki's health has been declining, and this week it takes a more serious turn. Victoria already knows about the headaches. That has been a slow-building concern for a while now. But this week we are going to see Nikki's vision start to deteriorate. And that is a significant escalation. Nikki is going to go to the doctor, and she is going to receive a scary diagnosis. Though my read on the timing is that we probably do not get the full reveal of what that diagnosis is until the following week, because July Sweeps kicks off on June 25th, and this feels like exactly the kind of bombshell the show is going to want to drop right as sweeps begin. But the groundwork is being laid this week, and it is heavy. Victoria can feel that something is really wrong, and watching her mother go through this is devastating for her. Friday, June 19th, Season 53, Episode 177. Closing out the week on Friday, Phyllis gets her hands on some very valuable information. And this could go in a few different directions. It could be something connected to Patty and Diane. Phyllis has a way of finding out things she has absolutely no business knowing. It could be information about Lily and what is happening at Chancellor with Kane in the CEO seat. Or it could be something about Matt and Victor and whatever they are cooking up that is going to affect Kane. Phyllis having this kind of information is always a double-edged sword because you never know exactly how she is going to use it or who it is going to blow up on. But one thing is for certain, Phyllis does not sit on valuable information. She does something with it. Sienna hits back hard at Audra this week, and honestly, this has been building. Sienna is clearly feeling the pressure of Audra's presence around Noah, and she is not going to keep taking it quietly. And you can understand it. Audra does not exactly back off when someone tells her to. She is going to keep showing up, keep flirting, keep finding reasons to be in Noah's orbit, and Sienna has had enough. Sally, interestingly, is not exactly loving this whole dynamic either. She has been hoping that Audra would redirect her energy toward Nate instead, which, honestly, would solve several problems at once. But Audra does not take direction from anyone, and she is certainly not going to rearrange her love life because it would be more convenient for Sally. Victoria opens up to Claire this week, and I think we all know what this conversation is probably about.
Nikki.
Victoria is carrying a lot right now, watching her mother's health decline, worrying about what the doctors are going to say, and trying to hold herself together at the same time. Claire has become someone Victoria trusts and confides in, and this feels like one of those moments where Victoria just needs to say out loud to someone she loves that she is scared. She may also vent about the Chancellor situation, about Victor giving the company to Lily and how that landed for Nikki, especially since Chancellor was supposed to remain in the Newman family's orbit. There are a lot of layers to what Victoria is feeling this week, and I think this conversation with Claire is going to be emotional and real. What a week, Young, and the Restless fans. Between Patty's terrifying blackmail scheme, Diane trapped and fighting to prove she is not losing her mind, Jack ready to burn the whole world down to find his wife, Nikki's health heading toward a crisis, Devon warning Kane to back up, and Phyllis collecting information like it is her full-time job. This show is absolutely delivering right now, and I am completely hooked. Make sure you are following us wherever you listen because we have got spoilers and recaps coming all week long, and you do not want to fall behind. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and every major platform out there. Thank you so much for being a loyal part of this community. We will see you in the next one. Do not miss it.